G'day everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Brushes with Beck. Today's video is another coloured pencil video. For this image I'm only using the Polychromos coloured pencils by Faber-Castell, the set of 12, and also the Prismacolor white because it's more opaque than the Polychromos white. I'm drawing on Canson Meton's paper, which is a pastel paper. I'm using the reverse side of the paper, and this paper is A5 size, which is 148 by 210 millimeters. And I'm using a sort of a toned blue paper, though it's not as easy to see in the video as it is in person. So the little bird that I am drawing today is a White-browed Babbler. It's another Australian native bird that I photographed. I think I photographed this particular bird last year in October, foraging and eating a grub, as you can see. So what I'm doing in this piece is, what I do is I work up base layers, and I find that pencil on this paper layers quite well, and I can actually use the cotton bud there to blend out layers like you would with a mineral spirits or a solvent blender, but without using those liquids. I go underneath with some either darker colours or lighter colours, blend those out, and then put in the detail over the top. So this bird was taken on a sunny morning and is well lit up except for a little bit of a shadow underneath. So there's the blue that I'm using there is I think it's a sky blue, or what's it called? The light ultramarine. That's a Faber-Castell Polychromos colour. It's beautiful blue. It's great for highlights and shadow areas. So you can see me layering in those blue for the shadows, a bit of black, some browns, and just going over with the Polychromos, not the Polychromos, with the Prismacolor white to really get that vibrant white on the breast area there, to really strengthen the highlight against the shadowed area underneath and really make that stand out more. Moving on to the body, I'm just putting in those underlayers as I mentioned before. Just working up a few different colours, light brown, dark brown, some blue, and blending each colour out before adding in the detail there. And that's how I find I really like to work that way. It helps if you do a lighter colour underneath and blend that out rather than doing a darker colour, unless you've got a more textured paper. This one's okay for that. You can layer lighter colours over the top because the texture of the paper allows for that. Same with if you're using pastel matte, that's a bit more forgiving. But if you're using a smooth paper, it's going to be a lot harder to lay a lighter colour over the top. On the feet here, the orange that you see is actually like a red sand that's caught on the toes of the bird while it's sitting on this log. And I've tried to capture that gritty, sandy appearance. It's the same on the beak. There's that little orange area on the beak that's meant to be sand as well. I found it quite challenging to depict because my image isn't quite large enough for that, just do grains of sand. But I sort of tried to give the impression of that. So with more complicated areas, such as the back of the bird there and over the wing, I tend to map the whole area out a little bit first. And as you can see, I've put in those lighter areas on the rims of the feathers, just to act as a guide while I work through that area. Because otherwise it becomes easy to get a bit lost and to sort of lose your way a bit, and everything gets a bit too complicated, or you don't fit in the detail that you wanted to fit in. Adding a little bit of yellow just to warm it up a bit. And then just going through feather by feather with each colour there. Trying to get the tones right. There's a bit of a blue reflection on the back from the sky. And that's why I've added that blue in across the top there. Illustrate those highlights and that reflection from the sky. Just mapping in some more of that detail before I go in with stronger with the colours there. So one of the difficult things I found with this bird is that because it's so well lit from one direction, there's not a lot of really dark shadowed areas, apart from like that thin area under the breast and that sort of thing, and just a little bit over the back. So it made it quite challenging to get values accurate. And that was my cat Jasper just walking across the page there, and made it tricky to sort of really get those values strong because they're not there in the reference, because it's all just well lit and sort of, it seems equal in value because there's not a lot of shadowed areas or super bright areas either. But this bird was quite a fun little challenge for me. My photo had a lot of good detail in it, which made it very easy to work from. And I probably could have worked larger, but I really like using this paper. And I wanted to see sort of what I could achieve, because I've done a bird on this paper before with coloured pencil, and that was, I've got a video on that one. It's the red-capped plover video. That was one of my first videos. But that was a much quicker piece, and it was half the size again of this piece. So that was more of an experimentation. What was the paper like? And this is more of a, for me, this is more of a full finished piece. I've spent a lot more time on it, worked more thoroughly through it, kept it a lot neater. And it's interesting to find out what I can achieve on different paper surfaces and with these Faber-Castell Polychromos pencils. As I said, I'm only using the 12 colours because at the moment I only have the 12 colours. Which is also an interesting challenge because I've got to pick my references based on the colours I have available and what I feel like I can mix and achieve. And you'd be surprised what you can get with just 12 colours and the different images you can accomplish. And I think that's a great way to learn colour mixing as well, because you are limited, so you have to push the boundaries and you have to try new things to make it work. Whereas if you have all the colours available to you, you don't have to mix things as often, and you can get a little bit lazy, I suppose, if you're not forced to mix things and not forced to think about those. So just a few final touches here. I've just done that branch underneath the bird. I've tried to keep it a bit more gritty looking, blended some of the under layers and kept the top layers a bit less blended to maintain some of that texture. Just sort of a few little final touches on the bird, and there you have the finished piece. Once again, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment below, let me know what you did like, what you didn't like. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook as well. I am on both of those platforms, and I'll see you next week for another video. Thanks for watching. Bye.